Subscribe, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everything is there. And today on YouTube, it was just like a weird moment. I clicked, it's updating and, and doing the stuff that we do over there on YouTube. And I saw it click to 24,000 subscribers. It was just weird. Blip, 24,000, 24000. I just sat and stared at it for a minute. Pretty cool. Thank you for all of that and all of the support. You can email throughout the show tonight, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. I see what you guys are saying, that I'm fading in and out, okay? There's nothing changing here in the audio. There's nothing going on here. Everything is normal. So all I can say is I'm looking at our internet speed right now. It's a little slow, okay? So it's not me, all right? It's not the audio here. It's it's the speed. So, we'll just ride through this and see what happens at the break. Okay? All right. The Sandbox is hashtag F2B on Twitter. We don't bite. Come and hang out with us. Hashtag F2B. Any questions or comments during the show tonight? Hashtag F2BQ. Do check out all of our sponsors. This show runs because of our sponsors and you supporting them. Life Change Tea. All the banners for all of our sponsors are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Life Change Tea, promo code is Jimmy. And again, all of our promo codes are on the banners. Life Change Tea, getthetea.com, promo code Jimmy. Gets you free shipping on your order. River Moon Coffee, promo code F2B Blend, gets you 15% off of your order. The very best coffee in the world, by the way. I'm drinking it right now. Studio Dome and their Fade or Not special. Promo code JCRTWS. $129 gets you a Bluetooth wireless stereo system. And, of course, Zyppah, ZYPPAH.com. Stop snoring today. Zyppah.com. All right. So, please support the show. Click on those sponsors and go and order the best products. We put our name behind all of them. Including this Fade to Black blend. All right. Some announcements I want to get out of the way. Tuesday, we made the announcement sort of yesterday, a little softball. Today, we launched everything out there in social media. Tuesday, January 17th, we will be broadcasting live in front of a studio audience, video cameras, the whole thing, from UPARS in Studio City, California. That's right here in Los Angeles, Fade to Black Live. And our guest will be Jason Martell. So come and hang out with us. This event is going to sell out. It's enough. It's got seating for about 150. And if we overflow that, that's going to sell out. But we overflow that, we've got monitors and another room that we can overflow into. But I just want to, I don't want to do that. Let's just put everybody in the main room and close the doors, just like we did the last two times we broadcasted from there. So there you go. That's Tuesday, January 17th. And we'll get stuff up here in Twitter, all of the information that you need. But if you live in or around Los Angeles, Southern California, you want to come and hang out with all of us, we'll do a Q&A after the show and hang out with everybody. Okay, so that is Tuesday, January 17th, Fade to Black, live from UPARS. And then after that, the conference season is starting to fill out, by the way. The conference season is kicking off, and the first one of the biggest in the country, is in February. That's the Conscious Life Expo, February 10th through the 13th at the LAX Hilton. Tickets and info over at jimmychurchradio.com. Yes, we'll be broadcasting live from the Plaza Ballroom. That'll be on Friday. And then Saturday, I'll host the Ancient Aliens panel. George Norrie and Coast to Coast has got a couple of events that they are doing, so we will be attending those. And a couple of other things are going on. There's a big award ceremony and stuff. So come and hang out with us. And I'm going to, introduce some friends and stuff. So just come and hang out. and it's a great bar at night. And then Contact in the Desert is May 19th through the 22nd in Joshua Tree, California. And, the lineup between these two events is so huge. You want to go to both because it's the biggest and the best of everything. And it's really cool. So, you've got Corey Good and Dolan and Linda Moulton Howe, David Hatcher Childress, and Nassim Haramein over at Conscious Life Expo, Contact in the Desert. You've got Graham Hancock. You've got Stephen Greer, Tsoukalos. Robert Schock is going to be there this year. Robert Schock, hanging out with him. Robert Bivall, Andrew Collins. I'm just looking down the list right here. Whitley's going to be there. Michael Tellinger, Stephen Greer. So, Contact in the Desert, May 19th through the 22nd in Joshua Tree, California. And I think we will be doing Roswell this year, too, as well, but we'll make that announcement as it works out, okay? We got all the info on it. Now, let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today, Rammstein frontman Till Lindemann is 54, and I love me some Rammstein. I'll never forget the first time I heard that band. I thought they were the greatest thing in the world. Also today, REM frontman Michael Stipe is 57. And you know what I did today? I went and looked at Michael Stipe's net worth. I just had to, man. I mean, how much is that guy worth, right? It wasn't as much as I thought. But anyway, happy birthday, Michael. You can afford a good birthday party today. Our dead guy's birthday today is Sir Isaac Newton. 1643 to 1727, died at the age of 84. That's an old man in 1727. Trust me on this. Physicist, mathematician who became one of the most influential scientists of all time, period. Formulating the three basic laws of motion and the law of universal gravity. He built the first practical reflecting telescope. Did you know that about Isaac Newton? Seriously. And his work helped Enlightenment thinkers rebel against the church theology. And if you think about that, and avoided prison, too, as well. His dad was a farmer, right? His family, his mom wanted him to quit school and become a farmer, right? And his teacher said, no, you're staying in school. On this day in history, in 1974, President Nixon refuses to hand over tape recordings and documents that had been subpoenaed by the Senate Watergate Committee. And it was the beginning of the end because 8 months later, he was out. Fate or fact. Now, everybody over in England right now, everybody in the UK that can hear me, I want you to tweet and tell me if this is true, because I vetted it today and I was in shock. This is a fate or fact. 10% of British train toilets flush directly onto the train tracks. Yeah, man. Is that true? Seriously. All right. I talk a lot about drones. I talk a lot about technology. I talk a lot about smart things. I talk a lot about this. I'm freaking out. 1984. How many times did Dolan mention Orwell last night? Well, it's a big deal. And we are closing in on a very crazy time. And I have asked that we pump the brakes. We need to pump the brakes. Tech-driven beauty. Tech-driven beauty, right? Smart mirror. Listen to me. Tech-driven beauty and enhanced hair care have officially arrived in 2017. What are you talking about, Jimmy? Where is this going? Well, CES is kicking off out in Las Vegas. And the latest innovative product to hit the tech beauty circuit is a new smart hairbrush. A connected, smart hairbrush. It's called the Kerastase Hair Coach, powered by Withings. And it made its debut yesterday, just 2 days ahead of the 2017 CES show in Las Vegas. And this is according to L'Oreal. Now, the two companies sought to create a smart brush that would focus on personalized hair care. One that could actually combat hair damage that is normally inflicted by traditional hairbrushes and poor maintenance. Say what? The brush, a smart hairbrush. It was awarded the 2017 International CES Innovation Award ahead of its debut. L'Oreal's Research and Innovation Technology Incubator, which is a startup that pairs L'Oreal's Research and Innovation Division with entrepreneurs and academic institutions, was also involved in the collaboration and supported the brush's algorithms and tech. And this is according to, and I'm not making this up, the L'Oreal Technology Incubator's Global Vice President, Guv Balush. The brush. I'm going to take a hit of this coffee before I just blow a fuse. The brush has multiple sensory devices that filter information into the brush and to the app to determine a complete hair profile of the user. 3 axis load cells determine the force applied to the scalp and hair. When the brush is used, a microphone picks up sounds that can track brushing patterns, which can determine breakage, dryness, or fizziness. Additional sensors count brush strokes, determining if brushing is too forceful or vigorous. Lastly, conductivity sensors can help to determine hair measurement based on whether or not strands are wet or dry. What the frig is going on? A microphone in a smart hairbrush. What has this world come to? Do we really need this? The connected world, what is going on right now, the potential of AI, machines, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, routers, the net, taking over your house and your life, from your bed to your bathroom to your clothes, out the garage and into the car, is nuts. And if something can go wrong, and it will, it's going to go way wrong. And in the wrong hands, this technology, you see a movie, guy comes home, his house is freezing. He bundles up. His house freaks out, turns into an oven. Gets in his shower. The water's hot, cold, freaks out, goes out, opens up his refrigerator. The food is rotten. Coffee machine is overflowing. And he's going, what is going on? His car alarm goes off. He walks outside, his car's running, throws itself in reverse, drives out into the street. What is going on? And you have no control over any of it. And you will pay or do anything to get your life back. So I compiled over the last couple of months a little bit of research here. How connected is everything really? How far can this really, really go? You will beg for a day when all you had to do was plug in your hairdryer into a socket, that you had to get out of bed and go and turn the heater off or on. When everything, you remember that little thermostat that your dad wouldn't let you touch when you were a kid, and it had that little dial right there and that little needle? You will beg for that day. You will beg for the day of a non-smart phone and a non-smart car and a way to get unconnected. Belkin's Wemo home automation system can monitor and control Wemo branded smart wall switches and plugs. The very jacks in your wall, the plugs throughout the house, light switches with no hub needed. This runs in the cloud. Anybody that wants to go nuts with your house can. You can't turn off your lights, or you can't turn them on, or no electricity, or your toaster and everything in the house turns on at the same time. Do you want to let go of this kind of control? I am saying, listen to me. The Canary all-in-one home security system includes an HD video camera and sensors for, are you ready? Air quality. It's a home security system. Air quality, motion, sound, temperature, and vibration all in one unit. Controls everything. Smart, hooked up to the web. TCP's home lighting automation system includes a gateway device that plugs into your home router, your wireless remote control, and a mobile app, and 2 smart LED light bulbs. Complete control of everything. Your remote control, and a mobile app, and your home router. And you let it all go. Think about this. Nurio embeds a Wi-Fi enabled sensor inside your home's electrical panel, and it identifies individual devices and appliances by their power signatures. Think about that. It doesn't even have to be a smart device, and if anybody wants to have access to your system, they're going to know. A Wi-Fi enabled sensor inside of your electrical panel wired to the internet. Do you really want to let this go? Honeywell, their Total Connect remote services control everything from security cameras and smoke alarms to lighting and window shades. That system, Total Connect, is controlled from a mobile app straight into your router. Now, then there's the IV Sleek. The IV Sleek may look like another alarm clock, and it does. But it's a voice-activated interface that lets you talk to the Nest Smart Home thermostat, the Staples Connected Home and SmartThings smart home monitoring and control systems. It is an alarm clock, clock radio, microphone, sitting there live in your bedroom on the nightstand. Revolve, wants to be the unifying smart hub for monitoring and controlling every smart device in your home, regardless of brand, type, product, or communications protocol used. The Sense system has a mother, a hub, and these cookies, these wireless sensors that you attach to objects or people and then program to monitor and analyze movements, temperature, and location. The SmartThings smart home automation system, more than 5,000 developers and device makers have signed on. It will control anything in the world with an IP address. Remember that smart toothbrush and smart mirror I talked about last year when you just thought, nah, impossible. It'll never happen. Griffin Technology makes their connected mirror. That's right. Connects to your home Wi-Fi network. Full display, got whatever you want, the local time and weather and missed notifications from your smartphone. Then there's that Bluetooth smart toaster. How about a coffee maker, washing machine, dryers? Well, there is the new Oral-B Bluetooth connected toothbrush. And you thought I was making it up. Or the Ara toothbrush, by the way, with the much touted, are you ready? Embedded AI. Do you really, really want to let this go? I talk about it all the time. Some nutcase that knows how to write a little bit of code and get into Android. Wi-Fi routers can mess your world up. The entire country. Think about it, and would have the ransom request that just would not be a big enough number because everybody would pay up. Think about it. We need to back off. We are, when you listen to your grandfather 30, 40 years ago, I miss the simpler times. You need to think about that. It's words of wisdom. Words of wisdom. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, the one, the only, Freeman is here. We're going to talk about conspiracies in 2017, talk a little bit about Washington, D.C. and what's going on out there. And, of course, the new Economist cover that's got a set of 8 tarot cards on it. It's pretty crazy. And we'll post that cover here in just a bit in Twitter. When I come back, Freeman. Used to be called Freeman Fly, but now he's just got one name. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Tepe.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Klutsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fade-or-Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right. Bringing in 2017 the correct way. Tonight, it's Freeman. Freeman Fly. No, it's just Freeman now. He's got one name. Freeman has been on the forefront of conspiracy theory for nearly 2 decades. He's an internationally known, award-winning TV producer, filmmaker, radio talk show host, and lecturer. Freeman is considered an expert in the fields of the occult, trauma-based mind control, Illuminati symbolism, and ancient civilizations by his peers and professionals within this industry, including myself. Tonight, we're going to get caught up on all things conspiracy from around the world and take a look at Washington, D.C. and that occult symbolism in our nation's capital. And, of course, a full discussion on the leaked Economist 2017 magazine cover that features 8 tarot cards. But first, I just got to say, welcome back, Freeman, my brother. How you doing?
It's so wonderful to be here, Jimmy.
Man, you're the best, Freeman. Now, check this out. The other day, so we disconnected satellite, right, over at the house. We cut the umbilical cord, right? And so we've got Apple TV and Amazon Fire Sticks, right, throughout the house now, right? Okay, that's what we're doing. So I'm goofing around, looking at apps and messing around, and I find this app called Conspiracy Television, Conspiracy TV. I was like, wow, that's right up my alley. I click on it, and it's you.
Yes.
Brother. And I was like, get out of here. And I'm just, I was very, very impressed. And you didn't tell me about it. How's that going for you? And, dude, you've hit the big time. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think about it because you guys are all my friends. And so it just is a thing, you know? And I that's the work of Olav Phillips. And if you haven't had him on your show, you really need to get him on. He's deep into the breakaway civilization and extraterrestrial sources, and it's amazing. So Olav is the creator of Conspiracy Television and included me. He is the one who has, my whole thing is the friendship agenda, that we need to do away with the money and start to correlate and cooperate.
Right.
And the friendship agenda has been my way. And honestly, this whole time, it's just been friends along the way that say, hey, I do this. Let's bring you in and let's do this and we'll do this. And me just saying, yes. And it just keeps going, Jimmy.
Yeah, Olav is no joke. And he's been on the show a few times, and he's always a great guest, and he's so smart. But I was floored. I was floored how slick the app ran and how good it looks. So there you go. And everybody who's got a Fire Stick or has got a smart television, go check out Conspiracy TV. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very, very, very impressed. Look, it was one of those I didn't know, and that just goes to show you I do fart around on smart televisions a little bit too much, and that there's so much more out there. This this a la carte TV world is the way it should be, and it was just very impressive. So okay, so now back to you. Let's we've got a lot to discuss. The world is in a nutty place right now. I'm so glad that not only are you here our first week of 2017, but I'm even more happier to get 2016 behind us. I'm going to ask you the same question that I've asked maybe the last 10 guests over the last couple of weeks, because it's an important question. Do you think that it is possible that 2017 could get nuttier and crazier than 2016, or is 2016 going to go down in history as like the craziest year ever in the history of the world?
Oh, no, this is going to be one wild ride, without a doubt. The doors are open now. The things that could occur, it's like we've been sitting here 20 years discussing the things as they slowly progress. But as I see it now, and I mean, I've thought this before, but, the whole thing is that the doors are open now for all of their games to come to light and come to play. And we've got to be so careful in our reactions to what they're putting in front of us. And that's always been one of my biggest things to say, 9/11 truth can be used against you. So we always have to be careful as to where we're being put in place. But I absolutely think it's just going to get wild, Jimmy. I do.
The one thing that we saw coming, you and myself and other guys that do what we do, we've talked so much about Project Mockingbird and the CIA and fake news and who is controlling the news agenda coming out of Washington. And I put that on the front burner on this show for the last 4 years. I have done nothing but bark about this, but it all came out in flaming colors in 2016. The propagation of fake news. We don't know who's generating it. Some is kids. Some is the Washington machine. Some of it is the Rothschilds and Reuters, but it's all an agenda. And we now know collectively as a civilization that you can't trust the mainstream media. And the alt view, you and I, we came out ahead because we were the ones saying all along, you can't listen to these guys. Is that a pretty remarkable turnaround for us in alt in 2016?
Absolutely. And like you say, we're actually spreading our way to the television and coming out in areas that people consider real. And so this is why they're panicking and kind of freaking out. But it really makes me wonder what's going to happen to us, because there are fake news sites. They make lots of money, and they are intentionally fake. They make $10,000, $80,000 a month through Google ads on fake news sites. There was an interview where I just make, I have 25 writers that write out stories, and if some of them stick, they stick. And they make the website look like an official website, even go to the point of buying CNN.co.com so that you might not notice the .co in there. So there is legitimate fake news. And to lump things like us into this, which we are barely news, we are more encyclopedic.
Right.
And our, you can't call us news really. We're professors. We're this is a university. We're at the Academy of Fade to Black here.
Right. No, you're right. And one thing that you have done in your video presentations and in your documentaries and the guest on your show too as well. I don't want to put that, but your video presentations have been out there for a long, long time, screaming about just this. Do you feel vindicated
Not yet.
Not yet.
I swear I feel like this underdog that just, no one seems to see the puzzle that I'm trying to put together in front of them. At least that's from my individual point of view. I'm sure that it's not true. I think that I'm making a way bigger impact than I feel. But I am waiting for that moment of real recognition that I think I deserve. I don't think many people even know that I'm the guy who created the concept of Illuminati corporate logos.
Right.
They think this came from somewhere and has bubbled up. And with the internet the way that it is, you can't tell that my stuff is 12 years old. You see it today, you saw it 12 years ago, you don't know the difference.
Right.
So there's no judging the timeline of how this unfolded. I mean, I know the man who got us to start calling them the Illuminati. That was Anthony J. Hilder. You've had him on.
Yep.
He's the one who started that colloquial term of using Illuminati. Another term that I've had to battle all along the way because I'm very scientific in what I'm saying, and terms need to mean what the terms mean. And so that's how young this conspiracy theory is. The ideas of Illuminati corporate logos came out of my mind, and that has now developed and changed. And of course, then you always see the other side where they're countering what we're releasing. And so, my corporate logos film came out before the Da Vinci Code. So then I see Dan Brown out there, and I've been to every Mason temple in the world, and they all sell Dan Brown at the Mason temples. And he is leading the flock astray with this story that he weaves, and takes almost everything that I had been talking about, which he didn't get from me, although I do kind of come up in the lost symbol. But
well,
he distracted everything. Yeah.
No, I'm going to give you credit where credit is due, because Dan, God bless his success. I'm never going to take that away from anybody. It's a tough thing to make it in this world, right? So, okay, I'll say that, and let's put that to the side. But what he did do is he went around to the best of the best and collected a lot of data from a lot of different sources, you being one of them. It's just a small piece of that Dan Brown puzzle, because, if you, I even think that he'll admit to it to a point too. But there's so much of his stuff that you and I read in other material out there. We know exactly where he got it from. And he put it all into one book, and he made it happen. Okay, good for him. But you were part of that, and so were many others. And they recognize it. They know, and we just kind of got to move on from it. But I absolutely agree with you. Your symbolist work and your corporate logo work fit right in, and it triggered him, and he used it, and that's it. I've got to give him credit for plagiarism,
He did make me the villain in The Lost Symbol. I'm the villain that creates the villain. If you read the book, the villain is Malek or Malak.
Yes, yes.
And he turns evil because he was watching this occult access conspiracy show. That's the whole reason Malek became the villain of the story. So it really spawned from the Freeman perspective, my bad low budget access television show that Dan Brown defines so quaintly in his book.
Well, and we can't forget about what was the movie from 2 years ago? The movie.
From Dan Brown?
No, that you're in.
Oh, I'm in Don Peyote. Hey,
Don
people
Peyote.
might know who Dan Fogler is now that he's in Fantastic Beast and
Yes, Dan Fogler. You've influenced a lot.
Well,
I want to.
Okay, let me just add that I'm 1 degree away from spirit cooking and Pizzagate.
Oh no! Man.
I gotta say this. I gotta admit it. But I have a very small role in the movie Me at the Zoo. It's an HBO documentary produced by Michael Stipe and Alefantis.
It's Michael Stipe's birthday today, by the way.
Oh, well, there you go. Michael Stipe of REM put this together. And, of course, he's been seen hanging out with Abramovic doing spirit cooking.
That's right.
And then, of course, Alefantis, say no more.
Right.
And they're both the producers of a film that they put me in. strangely, I'm in this drug-riddled movie, Don Peyote, and then I'm in this movie about a transgender. The places I pop up talking about mind control, I'm talking about mind control and Britney. He's the guy, Chris Crocker, who cried, "Leave Britney alone."
Right.
So Michael Stipe wanted to make a documentary about the celebrities of YouTube. And I'm one of them because I'm one of the very first. I have actually the longest conspiracy show on YouTube.
Yes.
And so they included me in this. But once they met Chris Crocker, they decided to make the documentary all about him and his transvestite ways. And but I got included in it still. So I was kind of proud, but yet 1 degree away from both spirit cooking and.
Barrett just tweeted that I referred to myself in the third person.
Did you?
Did I? No, I didn't.
I don't think so.
Man, somebody's drinking. Somebody's drinking. Refer to yourself in the third. I had a guest on the show. I won't say his name out loud. That did the entire show in the third person.
Bob Dole says.
Oh man,
well, we have presidential candidates.
It was the freakiest thing for me to go. I was just like, you know what? It was funny. 5 minutes in, I was like, do I need to say something about this right now? Or does he know? Or is this intentional? I'm feeling really uncomfortable right now because I've got 4 people on the show and there's only 2 of us, right? So, but anyway, did the whole show in the third person. It was bizarre.
That takes talent.
Yeah. So when somebody says I'm in the third person, I take that, man. I will take that self-consciously, man. I'll jump right in. No, I'm not. No. Okay. I want to jump back, Freeman. You said that Dan Brown's books are available at all Freemason gift shops. Did you?
Yes. It's so true. You'd be blown away what was in the Temple of the 33rd, the Supreme Mother Council in Washington, D.C. The books that they had on their shelves are all the same conspiracy books I have on my shelves. They're into all of that. And then, in the books, in the gift shop themselves, there they sell Dan Brown, Manly P. Hall and such, and get your copy of Morals and Dogma, of course. But the library you find all these OTO works, you find all of the deep conspiracies, Holy Blood, Holy Grail, another book that Dan Brown based his work on.
Right.
And all of that stuff, you'll find it all there. Even Richard Hoagland, I saw that. I'm like, wow, this is.
So is it hidden in plain sight? Is that kind of where they're going with that? Because they know that maybe fans of the conspiracy of Freemasons are also who are drawn to the bookstore and they're just making money. Is that what's? It's just so weird to me.
Yeah. They're all about collecting that dough. That's for sure.
Right. It's just what a weird thing. Like I said, it's about making money, right? So they're sitting around and they're going, "Hey."
I was thinking about the day Phil Lesh took us all to a Mason temple and tried to kill us.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah.
Phil Lesh.
I mean, all right, just to clear that up, they turned off the air conditioning, had 300 people in this overcapacitated building, and then wouldn't turn on the water. They turned off all the water so that you had to buy $3 bottles of water. That's who these guys are, And deep down in their thing, they're just like, die, but give us your $3.
Yeah, exactly. We did a poll, and everybody coming into the bookstore, they don't want to become a Mason. They want to know if we're running the world. So let's sell them books. Yeah.
Every time I've gone to a Mason temple, and folks, you should go to these things. That's the only thing stopping you from knowing this is going, because they're open to the public, and I've been to them all over the world. You can see the pictures of them all on freemantv.com. I broadcast all of this stuff all the time. So you should go. You should go to Washington, D.C., go to the Supreme Council, check it out, realize what's going on inside of there, and get a better idea of the foundations of America, because these are the guys, they're going to show you the flag that Buzz Aldrin took to the moon. They're going to show you, the creation of America, George Washington's Masonic Memorial, which is, of course, covered in Stars of David. And that's when you start to realize, wait a minute, the guys that created America are Kabbalists. They practice Hebrew magic, and that's something we're going to be talking about tonight.
Now, and we're going to get to that in a second. One of the things that I've always found fascinating about you is your humble way of going across the United States, videotaping and documenting your travels through everything as you started to put this symbolism and occult meaning not only through architecture but our very fabric of the United States and how these towns are put together in cities across the country. But that's how you did it, and you went and discovered this for yourself. So many researchers out there, and which is fine. You know, you can do research at home, sitting in front of a computer and surfing the internet. It's a whole nother thing to strap on a video camera and head out with a backpack and literally spend years going across the country. I want to ask you, putting Washington, D.C. aside, which city is on the top of your list for just being absolutely crazy with its symbolism?
Astana in Kazakhstan.
Oh, well, okay. How about let's stay between the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans?
Okay. There's a number. Yeah. I mean, Denver obviously is a big one. What you will find is that every capital you go to will have these same symbols of the dome, the obelisk, and the pentagram, and usually a Hermes or some god of magic sitting in there with the goddess. And one of the most Masonic ones that I've seen are like Madison, Wisconsin.
Really?
And you'll see Hermes and Aphrodite all over the place there.
In Madison,
Portland, of course.
Madison. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start with Denver because that's what you said first. Now, obviously, we have DIA, and there's enough craziness going on there. But what else about Denver?
There is this giant obelisk in Denver that has the goddess, Lucifer. If you guys realize that Lucifer in their mythos is Venus. If you look it up in the dictionary, Lucifer is Venus, right? So this goddess, Columbia, the ones that we see all the time, this is a Luciferian reference. So they have this obelisk in Denver with the Luciferian goddess rising up, burning with a flame over. And that's definitely one of the ones, once you start to recognize what that goddess represents and how that is the light, the Lucifer, and all of that, then you start to get closer to understanding. Although it's still a conundrum, it's still a mystery to me as well to understand this goddess worship and how it all works. But that's where the owl symbolism comes in, the Bohemian Grove. You don't see Moloch. I've been yelling at Alex Jones since the day I met him about that. You know, he even added the whole goddess thing into his latest documentary because he knew I was right. The owl is not Moloch. There is no Moloch, the owl. It doesn't exist. The owl goes to Minerva, goes to Athena, goes to Lilith, goes to the queen of the night. When you look to these, and so that, when you start to realize that these guys are actually goddess worshipers, and I've asked the Masons about this, and they never give you a straight answer ever. I became the first buff on Columbia, first expert on the goddess Columbia.
Right.
I was trying to figure this all out.
I'm looking at two different obelisks in Denver. I didn't know this. Which one? Are you talking about the red one with the silver top?
It does. It was just block. It was white.
Okay. So the white one, that's pretty crazy. What's going on with the base of it? With what's this based on? The design.
Well, it's really a hermaphroditic symbol, and that's like what I was saying with Madison, Wisconsin. You'll see a lot of Hermes and Aphrodite, right. And so this whole idea of the hermaphrodite, the united male and female, prince's logo and whatnot, is where these symbols come into. So what you have is the obelisk is the phallus of Osiris, and then the goddess is the Shekinah or the Shekinah, if you want to say it that way, and the light, the generation, the birth, mother, that whole thing.
It's Huh. Now, it's saying here, and this can't be right. Well, anyway, it's based on a design that's 5,000 BC? What the heck was being built in 5,000 BC?
That's when you start to get to the idea of the human body connected to the geometry, which is the first representation of the G in the Mason logo is geometry. So you go back to Karnak, you go back to Luxor, and you study the works of Schwaller de Lubritz and the Temple of Man. And you'll find that these were proportionately designed in the phi ratio to set up this whole system that is organized to the human body.
Right.
So these ancient Egyptian structures were, actually geometrically human.
Why do you think the influence because of the Masons and obelisk? Because I see them everywhere now, right? Just everywhere I go, there's an obelisk. Is it because of what it represents out of Egypt, or is it because the Freemasons are building them?
Yeah, it's always the Masons. It's always the Masons. You go to St. Augustine and you'll see the big obelisk downtown standing over the slave trade center. And, this is the oldest city in America. And it just says our dead on the obelisk. But then below that is the Masonic compass, square, and G. It's that magic that even the Hebrew that I'm speaking of, because recognize that if you'd even go to the story of Moses coming out of Egypt, all of this comes out of Egypt and the magical practices. Now you go back and study the earliest forms of magic, and you'll find that they were talismans, sigils, and such. And that's basically what we have with the dollar bill. Contracts was the second form of magic. And of course, that creates our golems that we call corporations, these immortal beings that are owning all the life on planet Earth. And contracts, talismans, and I lost the last one in my head there. I'll get to it though. But,
That's okay. It's okay.
These basic forms of magic are the very foundations of the structure of civilization, and have always been. So the concepts of money and talismans and contracts, which you always see going to the devil, but of course these magical contracts create an immortal being, a golem like GE or IBM, and they live on forever. And now they're being given more rights than humans. And so these are magical practices. But we just consider them normal, right? We consider them part of our usual.
Yeah, I remember watching one of your videos in St. Augustine, and I was like, wait a minute, this can't be real, right? It just can't, it just cannot be. And that symbolism is right there. People are walking around and they don't have a clue.
Absolutely. I take people on tours of their hometown all the time, and they're always like, I never saw that. I didn't know that was there.
I'm telling you, it's absolutely nuts. Let's take a break right here. We're at that point. Let's go ahead and take a break. Our guest tonight is Freeman. Now, when we come back, The Economist, their 2017 preview year magazine is out with a very strange cover on it. We're going to post that cover for everybody to see. And we're going to go through it. There's 8 tarot cards on the cover. And you know what, Freeman, I got to tell you, it scared the crap out of me. Tarot cards scare me anyway. But this cover is pretty interesting. We're going to discuss it with Freeman when we come back. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
How you doing? It's Jimmy here from Zeepa. Today I wanted to tell you about my efforts to achieve global elimination of snoring. It all starts with respect. Respect for yourself and respect for others. Listen, you think you're being a nice guy or a nice girl by letting the guy or girl next to you sleep and snore every night. It's the ultimate disrespect to have that happen. You wake that person up and you tell them, go to Zyppah.com now. Zyppah.com. We're not going to tolerate this, all right? Snoring is not okay. Someone next to you is snoring, you tell them to buy a Zyppah. Zyppah.com. I know that you're listening to these snoring things and you're thinking, well, it don't apply to me. I don't have these problems. A lot of people are in denial, but it's true. Listen, if you're snoring, you got to stop it. What you got to do is get this fixed. Get a Zyppah and change your life. Zyppah.com.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Kicking off 2017 the correct way with Freeman tonight. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow Freeman at Freeman TV. And, you know, Freeman, there's a lot of Freeman TVs out there, man. You know, you've got guys that are trying to be you. You know that.
A lot of them are me. Everything I did is under the Freeman TV banner, and I've made sure I was the first on everything. So, if you find Freeman TV, it's generally me. I just have a lot of things.
I just don't trust anybody, man. You know,
right?
I just don't. How's the band?
Oh well, we actually tried out a drummer today. It was amazing. It was really good to kind of just let loose. Oh, you got to do that sometimes. We hold in so much stuff.
Right.
And so to just be able to rock out for a minute was really good.
You guys, so if you get a drummer, you're going to go back and start recording? Do you have material?
Yeah, we do. We have a ton. And actually, my roommate, Lenny, has put together Friday the 13th Records as his label. And started putting out many bands now. So there's actually about 4 bands in the works on Friday the 13th. And I guess we have a Friday the 13th coming up here really soon.
Yeah,
that's a very special day to Masons, just so you know. That's why that is so known to everyone. It's not a horror story.
For some reason, and I'm doing it next week, right? I host Coast to Coast on Friday the 13th. Last year on Friday the 13th, we had the freaking Paris nightclub shooting, and it just bothered me. We're all freaked out about Friday the 13th, right? And there I was, so next week, Friday the 13th again. I'm just wondering what, I just hope everything is cool. So Now,
I would. All right, go ahead.
This cover. No, what were you going to say? Because I want to get to this
there's
cover.
A really strange story with 1013, Friday the 13th. It's the original Friday the 13th, 1307, with the Knights Templar, when the Pope and the King came together and said that the Templar need to be disbanded and all their treasures taken. Whatever it was, the Templar knew this secret of Jesus, this maybe Holy Blood, Holy Grail story, whatever it is that gave the Templars so much power, it was taken from them on Friday the 13th. And this was heralded by the death of Jacques de Molay, which is still the power cry of Freemasonry. Long live Jacques de Molay.
Right.
Well, the Pope went into the secret Vatican library just prior to closing it. The Vatican Library has been in operation for 500 years, but Pope Benedict, our Nazi youth Pope that quit, went down into this library and under the Vatican and discovered a 600-year-old misplaced document that exonerated the Knights Templar of all the blasphemies that they had accused them of, which was like peeing on the cross and kissing each other on the anus and worshiping Satan.
Right.
And the Templar are the group that basically reformed Freemasonry. That's the whole story in Braveheart. But the Pope came forward, and what he was looking for was information on the Illuminati, the actual Bavarian Illuminati of Adam Weishaupt, and ended up finding this document that exonerated the Knights Templar, and this whole thing erupted. After 1307, here all of a sudden now they're exonerated, and the Templar is saying, "Hey, well, give us back, all of our stuff and everything that you've stolen from us." And to me, that was just a really strange moment at the Vatican Templar Jesuit mystery just keeps unfolding. And then, to have the Pope quit soon after that and close the Vatican Library was really bizarre. So that's kind of where 1013 takes me, in Friday the 13th.
Yeah, and I said, I said it live on the air, but this happened in Paris on Friday the 13th, last year, and I just didn't see it as being a coincidence.
No, I predicted a 1013 event on Alex Jones. He had, politely asked me not to make any predictions, but I did anyway, and I don't think he'll ever have me back on. But after 9/11, after I had seen this symbolism being used, and I was asked to, apply my science and come up with the next, and it was this Templar situation because of the banking crisis. The Templar are the ones that created fiat banking, or the idea of a checking account where you would leave all your gold in one place, take a Templar note, and go to the next place and cash it in. That's who created that idea.
Right.
So when Alex had asked, if I didn't want to make any predictions, I did. And I predicted that the next 9/11 would be 1013. And this was way back, back in 2005, 6, somewhere around there, whenever the banking crash happened. And I said the next 9/11 will be 1013. And that, lo and behold, the headline, and I have this on my website, said 1013 bigger than 9/11. And that was the headline in Austin, Texas. And I had correctly predicted using this very same symbolism to understand their methods and see if I can get it right. I never know that I'm right. Okay, let me just make that clear. I'm not, I'm as shocked as everyone when I get it right. But I'm following a system, a very dedicated system of science, of magic, and applying it with political spectrum. And I'm keep coming up with positive results. So, yeah, 1013 was bigger than 9/11. It was the day Bernanke decided to finally sign the banker bailout, which he refused to sign on 1012. And, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I missed this. Francois just tweeted in. He wants to know the Jesuit connection to banking.
Yeah, and banking, it's the Vatican.
Right.
But yeah, they are a heavy player in this story and very hard to figure out because they are the original intelligence agency and they are so slippery and will live their entire lives falsely to keep their beliefs alive. And the Jesuits, like Cain, Hillary was running with Cain. He was a Jesuit. He was raised Jesuit. The Pope currently is our very first Jesuit Pope. And this is a the Jesuit Freemasonic War has really been broiling since 1307. So this is really weird times for us, and you should pay attention to the secret society wars that are going on.
Well, you know what's weird when it comes to the Jesuits, and I don't think that enough is known, and that is done on purpose, right? But I've had guests on this show that paint the positive light. You know, they're misunderstood. But and then they will say, well, they are the strong arm of the Vatican. They are, like you just said, you know, they're the Secret Service. They're that. So I don't really know what's going on, and I think it's done deliberately. I don't think we know enough about the Jesuits.
Well, let's realize they're the ones running the VAT and the deep space telescopes that are reporting Goldilocks planets.
That's right. Oh, trust me. Okay, yeah, let's move on. Well, one of my favorite guests that we have on this show was the lead counsel for the Jesuits, and straight up, right? And it's just like I listen, and I have open ears, and I don't want to contradict or debate. But when I hear the positive light being painted, but then there's this whole extraterrestrial side of what's going on with the Jesuits as well, like they know something. Right? It's there's something there, man. I think we're going to find out one day. We're going to go, really? It was you guys all along. But,
yeah, exactly. I mean, you find out that J.R.R. Tolkien went into the Vatican Library, that Tesla went into the Vatican Library. You know, everyone that comes out after going into that deep knowledge that's hidden away that, you know, you can't even go to anymore, comes out with miraculous understandings of planet Earth that go, you know, way off in the bizarre, like J.R.R. Tolkien.
Well, and you know, there are guys that not only run the vaults and the vault system and the library and handle the cataloging. They know everything that is there. Those are it's not necessarily the Pope. Right. You know, go down a couple of levels, you know, the worker bees that, you know, the guy that sweeps, you know, the janitor that cleans out the vault, you know, those guys know exactly what is in there. The Pope doesn't. You know, he may be told, but then there's the other guys that do the cataloging and they know exactly what is there.
There is always an invisible college.
That's it. But let's talk about this cover. I'm looking at it right now for The Economist, and I had heard the day before that you and I talked, which was a very synchronistic conversation that we had. We don't need to talk about that now, but it was interesting, and I had heard out there that this cover was leaked, and then you brought it up to me, and then I went back and I took a second look, and the hair stood up on the back of my neck. It's like the most frightening thing. And I don't even know what tarot cards mean, right? When I look at a tarot card, they all look scary, right? They do. They just look freaky to me. But there's something going on with this cover. In general, I want to go through each card, but in general, what do you think the message is here? What do you think they are trying to say?
Well, first and foremost, every magician must create their own tarot to be considered a magician. And it's not an easy work. And the symbolism that goes into it is very involved and you know, dedicated. And so first, when you think about this, how much effort had to go into creating each of the tarot cards for this situation.
Okay, there's that part of it. And then let me ask you this. Do you think that they laid out these cards, you know, for real, like did a world reading, right?
Right.
And then published the cards? Or do you think that these, well, not random, but these were picked out to show another message? Do you think this was an actual reading?
I see a pattern. But I'll tell you, reading tarot cards will show you they'll fall in patterns, and people will freak out when they hear what the cards say. I've seen it over and over again.
Right.
So they are like a mystical force of quantum dynamics. And the idea is that there are archetypal forces in the universe, and they are outlined in these major arcana, which are the ones represented there.
Right.
Now, the rest of the deck is how your playing cards come to be. So once you remove the major arcana, you've got the minor arcana. That's your playing cards, only it's swords and cups and discs and wands.
Right,
and then each of these kind of have a different part to your soul. So like as swords increase, you'll start with an ace of swords. That's inspiration. But as you get to the 10 of swords, it's distress, because you've got now too much reality in your world and you need more of spiritual. And the cups will run the other way, where as you build in cups, your world gets better and better. So they're actually set up as like an archetypal world map of life. And it was actually originally called the Book of Life or the Book of Thoth. And we'll go back again to ancient Egypt.
Right. And a normal, help me out here. When you do a normal tarot reading, how many cards do you flip over? Because there's 8 here. When I posted the cover on Facebook, I just wanted everybody's reactions to this because people know more about it than I do. And what were they seeing here with this? And the one thing that kept coming up was, well, you normally flip 10 cards. And here there are 8.
It is a weird pattern that they have up there, but there is no right way to actually throw the tarot cards. So there are different patterns that are known as, you've got your gypsy spread, you've got your magician spread. There's all kinds of different spreads that you could do. So
an 8-card spread is
it's
not
unusual.
out of the.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's not usual.
No, I've not seen that. But there is no right way to lay the tarot cards. There is just really accepted patterns that have been used over time.
Now, what do you think? Were they trying to? I mean, why have a tarot cover on The Economist? Right, that's sending a message right there.
Yeah, and this all boils back to Kabbalism and Christian Kabbalism. The tarot cards tend to be far more Christian than actually Hebrew. But when you look to the cards, they all go back to Kabbalism. They are each a place on the tree of life and a pathway between the nodes on a tree of life. And so, it's an Egyptian, Hebraic, Christian magic that is based out of Freemasonry as well. And Freemasonry is heavily into this. So the G in Freemasonry that you see on the compass square and G logo, that would be Gimel. And that would be the path that leads straight from earth to heaven. And it's the most direct path to heaven, but it's the most dangerous because it takes you over the abyss. And that's the one that's symbolized by the 66 or the O and X. And this is the region. So the most direct path from heaven to earth is the G path. Now, as an example of how this boils into corporate logos, if you look at your Camel cigarette pack, you'll see that the Great Pyramid is missing, and the camel is standing in between 2 pyramids with the Great Pyramid missing. Camel is the letter G in Hebrew, and this is the path of Gimel, the G path up from earth to heaven. And that's, again, Masons showing their signs of allegiance outwardly without the profane, you guys, knowing what they mean by all of this.
I've never noticed that, but you're right. The middle pyramid is missing.
Yes, and that's the G, the generative path, the path that takes you from, but it's the most dangerous path.
Man, I'm tripping out.
So each tarot card actually has a corresponding Hebrew letter that goes along with it, and then a meaning, and then the archetypal force. So, and a place on the tree of life.
I never noticed that. But you're
crazy,
right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Okay. We've got 9 minutes to the break. We have 8 cards here. And I know that you've done your analysis and you've looked at this. So let's kind of break this down a little bit. Let's start with the first card in the upper left, which is the Tower card.
Yeah, so the Tower, that's sudden change. And immediately you're given ideas of 9/11. As soon as you saw the tower, actually 9/11 followed the tarot card quite literally. When you were looking at it, it was crazy how much the pictures, the images of 9/11 look like the actual tower card from the Rider-Waite deck and others. So you've got that lightning flash, the shock and awe, the rapid dominance, and the concepts of 9/11. Now, you see that there seems to be some sort of eviction notice on the door of this castle.
Yes.
And there's a cross over the door. But yet, behind it, you see a Russia versus Christianity in some weird situation there that I'm really tripping out on the whole Putin situation, right?
Right.
Because they just had Alex Jones on, their main Putin's advisors, had Alex Jones on, commending him for being a true American. So, and this to me is just such a flip of the switch at this moment, because I've been saying all along that Putin is placed there as our hero. He's been shown riding the horse all manly with his, shirt off and such, and he's been displayed. Now, in his New Year's talk, in the speech that he gave in New Year's, he said something to the effect that we are all magicians. He used the word magicians.
Right. I read that. Yes.
And that again is kind of touching on, and is he Rasputin?
Yeah, right.
Does he have part of this Rasputin bloodline, and that whole, that's right back to magic again, folks. I mean, America was discovered because of John Dee and his magic. So just realize how deep this idea runs in everything that you know.
Yeah, well, when you look at the card and what Freeman is referring to, let me see. We have this up in Twitter, right? Okay, there it is. When you look at this card, you've got the Russian flag with the masses, right? It's flying over a crowd. That's on the left. On the right, you've got another mass, which is actually a larger group of people, with the cross floating in the sky. That's pretty bizarre. It's not Russia with the United States flag on the other side, or Russia with a China flag, whatever. No, it's Russia with a cross floating in the sky, and then the tower is being blasted apart from the top by a bolt of lightning with these dark clouds over the head, with this, like you said, an eviction notice. And there's also a cross above the door on the tower.
Yeah. Now, for me, 9/11 truth has always been a very dangerous thing. And imagine how contrary I seemed as I told 9/11 truthers to calm down, because their reaction was going to be used against them later, and that this was all to bring about a constitutional convention and war crimes, a war tribunal that would bring and rise up the Russia-China alliance. You can see this on my blog from 10 years ago. Actually, before we ever even heard of Obama, I had that written. And so I see this as a breakdown of the American society. We're destroying ourselves from within, and we're going to take down ourselves because we've been engineered to do so as reactionaries and revolutionaries to go against this. So I expect a constitutional convention, a world court, and a council of governors to start taking more play in this, and the rise of the Russia-China alliance as more leadership in the whole world.
Oh, somebody just said the cross is not floating; it's on a pole. Yeah, well, I was looking at the magazine cover. Now I'm looking at an enlargement, and yes, the cross is on a pole. It's being held up, which is even well, it's kind of freakier, actually. Now back to. Let me look at the clock here. Okay, let's go to the judgment card, which is also very interesting because it's Trump sitting on a globe.
Yeah, and judgment. A lot of people think because it has children rising from the grave and an angel coming down in the traditional card, they tend to think of judgment as the end of the world. But what the card really represents is the culmination of all of the events coming together to finally fulfill something. And so the judgment card is more of that kind of idea, whereas the tower is sudden change. The judgment card is a new day, a new resurrection of things. and Trump on his throne, which could be, you know, equated to maybe a toilet, sitting there with his scepter and orb like the Queen, maybe needing his groom of the stool. I really believe that, again, we see him as a person that wants to go and empty the swamp. And so there again, we see the rise of this would-be king to bring about 9/11 truth, bring out Bush war crimes, and really raise the idea of America having a supreme international crime syndicate, and bringing out, you know, all the Bush war crimes and bringing this into the world court again. So I see Trump kind of as the dupe on his throne there, bringing America to the courts and bringing it down.
What if it's the opposite of that? What if it's Trump being dethroned, you know, or being brought down? The card is tilted. I find that interesting, too.
Yeah, there's only two that are really tilted. And,
right. And that's
I
one of
wondered
them.
about that myself. But yeah, the would-be despot, I don't know. You know, I'm worried about Trump, honestly, because he's kind of gullible. And you can tell by his tweets. I'm sorry, folks, but I retweet all his tweets. And, you know, he's not the sharpest knife in the box. But he, you know, so he could be easily used in these positions of bringing America down. And I really see that as the next step. And it's something I've been saying, you know, since Bill Clinton was, you know.
Yeah. It does make me nervous when his advisors are, you know, Breitbart and Alex Jones. And see, the thing is with that, and this is what's really crazy, is I have an affection for Alex Jones. And Alex, I say it so often, Freeman, Alex, with all of his screaming over the years, a lot of his things turned out to be right. A lot of it was crazy, and I don't even think he believes the crazy stuff, right? I don't. He's a showman. He's an entertainer. But that's the other part about him, is some of his things have come out, you know, have come to pass. And that's what's really trippy. And now, of all things, you know, Breitbart and Trump and Alex Jones, the craziest conspiracy things, you know, as far out there as we can get, is in the Oval Office now.
Well, I know you were having an epic party on New Year's Eve, but
yes.
Alex Jones, if you watched him for New Year's Eve, he began the new year at the stroke of midnight discussing the fact that the elite believe Alien, Prometheus, and Covenant, the movies, are reality. He went into a major diatribe on panspermia and extraterrestrial pans. I was like, what? Wait a minute. This is your New Year's thing? Extraterrestrials, panspermia?
Right.
I was blown away by that. So I don't even know what to think about that. That's where it's all going, though, is as we, you know, it just keeps getting weirder and weirder. You go from Bohemian Grove to alien panspermia. But yeah.
You know, Dolan was talking about this last night on the show, Richard Dolan. And he said, you know, you gotta remember the one thing about Trump. He said, I'm not so sure that Hillary or Obama would have done disclosure on, you know, the knowledge of alien contact, right? He said, but Trump, on the other hand, you know, and I was like, really? I never really thought about it like that. But you're absolutely right.
He'll be tweeting, guess what I just learned?
I know, exactly. That's what Dolan said last night. You know, if he reads, right, he gets the dossier, right? He gets, you know, brought in, right? And he's reading. You know what? And the CIA goes, you know, you can't talk about this. That's exactly what you can't say to Trump. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm tweeting this right now. Let me take a picture of this. And I'm serious, man. When Dolan hit me with that last night, it all came together for me. Our guest tonight is Freeman. We're discussing the Economist World in 2017 cover. We got two cards out of the way. We'll hit the rest right when we come back. Our guest tonight, Freeman. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
You get a Zeepa. You get a Zeepa, you hear me?
What's the name when you snort? It's Zeepa, Zeepa. It's the thing we're craving for. It's Zeepa, Zeepa. You can sleep all night. Zeepa, Zeepa. And wake up feeling right. It's Zeepa, Zeepa. Makes me love my husband more. 'Cause he no longer snores. Zeepa, Zeepa. It's Zeepa, Zeepa.
Zeepa's different than any other device because it actually works. A lot of these other devices, they just bring the jaw forward. That's it. However, the thing that makes Zeepa different, it stabilizes the tongue, basically, with this elastic band. But right here, Jimmy's telling you that this is a unique device. Go to Zeepa now, buy it, and stop the snoring. Get a Zeepa, ZYPPAH.com. Zeepa.com. That's ZYPPAH.com.
Oh, fall. My favorite time of year. Cooler temperatures and, well, let's be honest, layers. Lots and lots of layers. Look, I get it. We all have that favorite hoodie. Matter of fact, I've got a few favorite hoodies. You should wear yours. Enjoy it. I do. But I stay focused on my health year-round. And for me, I take Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. I eat right, control my portion sizes, still maintain a commitment to regular fitness, and I get plenty of rest, and I take Nature's Youth RSF. It's okay to cover up your beach body for a few months, but don't just forget about it. Nature's Youth understands exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products, and Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain peak performance levels and fight the aging process. So layer up and get started today with Nature's Youth RSF. nature'syouth.com. Simple to use, even simpler to order. Go to nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Freeman, he has been on the forefront of conspiracy theory for as long as I can remember. He says 2 decades. I think it goes further back than that. Award-winning TV producer, filmmaker, one of the longest-running YouTube channels on conspiracy ever. And tonight we are discussing the Economist, amongst other things, the World in 2017 tarot card cover. I want to move on from now. We're going to go to the world card now, Freeman. But before we do, why do you think the Judgment card and the Star card are out of place?
Yeah, I wondered about that. That's something I couldn't answer yet.
Okay, all right, good enough. Let's go to the World, and the World card is dang interesting because we've got everything here when it comes to symbology. It's all represented.
Yeah, really the world, making the world. And when you realize what magic is a change in consciousness that changes the world around you. And so the goal of a magician is to change his consciousness to the point that the world manifests in front of him. And so the world card actually stands for integration and synthesis. And this is, of course, the Hegelian dialectic situation. But you need to set up every situation in order for the people to react the way that you expect them to react. And so the first sign that you see in there is kind of the invisible college, as we were talking about. People like Sir Francis Bacon, who wrote The New Atlantis and really created the American language using such outlets as Shakespeare to create words and to create the dialogue. And so the very creation of language, if you go to Walt Disney World, one of the most Masonic corporations out there, and you ride in their big ball at Epcot, they'll tell you exactly how the Invisible College created consciousness and how and what we think, from mathematics into language. So you see that floating above everything in the first situation on the world card is this idea of the invisible college creating the very words that you use and giving you the magic that is only granted to you by their creation of these things. So then they have this idea of the 3 city-states, and again you see a great pyramid sitting there instead of what you might think, like the Vatican or something, as the 3 city-states. But you see Egypt there at the very base, along with 2 other city-states, which would be like the Vatican and D.C.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I see.
Then what you see are the celebrity icons, or the idea of theater. And this way, they have created factories in our homes using television and us to create our consciousness so that we manifest the reality the magicians desire.
And it's interesting how they have books, they have paintings, right? And the computer, they're obviously representing the internet and communication here through all of these different mediums. They're all connected. But what is the deal with the shields above the pyramid?
Oh, man.
Are you
Got
there?
me. I don't actually have the picture in front of me.
Oh, okay. because they have all of the media there, right? All of the media is there, connected to the banking system. That's what it looks like to me. The powers, the power centers. Then they've got a frigging pyramid of all the things that is directly connected to this media, right? And that's what they're representing here, and they're calling it the world. Very disturbing card.
Yeah, well, they just get stranger from there. Let's move to the next one on the line.
Yeah, the hermit.
So the hermit, this is an idea of seeking solitude or wanting truth at all costs. And this was one of my great concerns. Again, contrary to 9/11 truthers back at 9/11 Truth, I'm saying this is going to be used against you. So wanting truth at all costs is something that you really need to be careful with, and truth is a very powerful weapon if you don't know what you're doing with it. So this is always my very big warning, and this card of the hermit seems to be saying the same thing. So you've got the hermit standing there shining the guiding light over a cliff, right? And down below the hermit are protesters, and they're holding up signs for TPP and EU, and they're being led off a cliff.
Somebody just okay. We need to go back. I said shields. I've got a small version of it up in front of me. And I was just corrected. They're not. It's the comedy and tragedy mask from theater.
That's what I was referring to as the celebrity icons.
Yes. That's a disturbing card, man. That world card with all of the media. Yeah, it's comedy and tragedy. I apologize to everybody, but again, you know what it means? It means I'm putting on my glasses. Gosh, I hate this. Yeah, there they are, comedy and tragedy. Yes, okay, everybody, I've got my stupid glasses on.
And, yeah, like we were talking about Mockingbird and Katy Perry and all of this, the programming centers. I mean,
That's a disturbing card. That's a disturbing card. It's almost as disturbing as me sitting here with these nerd glasses on. I started having eye problems a couple of years ago, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And Had to go to the doctor, and I got a couple of scripts. So now I've got 2 pairs of glasses, Freeman. I've got the glasses so I can see 3 feet in front of me. And then I've got another set so I can see 16 inches in front of me. Anything beyond that, I have perfect vision. But anything up close now, I am blind.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So, yeah, I'm pushing 50 now, and I got a set in the car that are just for driving. I can't see a thing in them unless I'm driving.
Dude.
And I got another set that I'm wearing now to be able to read.
And I go to a restaurant and a menu in a dark restaurant, dude, it's worthrough.
You should see me trying to figure out side A or side B on my vinyl.
I can't do it anymore. I've given in. Okay, so the hermit card, though.
Yeah. So this whole concept of protest. I mean, I have stood in front of those damn riot squads. I was at the IMF WTO protest in D.C. fighting, with all the craziness, and 500,000 people gathered together to say, we don't want the IMF, we don't want the WTO. It doesn't matter. It's so pointless. And everybody was led into corrals. They were all arrested by riot squads and taken away and charged money. And it's, the powerlessness of protest comes from the world card of the invisible college creating your world and your reaction to things. And then you get the synthesis, and you've got the hermit just guiding you off a cliff as you're doing these useless endeavors to change your world without looking inside first, as the hermit would suggest. And seeking truth at all cost, and going to burn down your own world, which takes you to the next card.
Well, actually, and that's what's represented here. The world, the earth, is cracked and broken underneath the hermit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very, very crazy. And also with this card, though, just like we were discussing earlier with fake news and how the media has broken apart. Can you imagine the ratings at CNN and Fox and MSNBC? Al Jazeera just shut down as a network. Al Jazeera, a news network, right? I was looking at their ratings, and they were averaging. Are you sitting down? 17,000 people were watching Al Jazeera network. We do quadruple those numbers on this show.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Right?
Yeah.
On a down day. Right. And think about that. And I'm not saying that CNN had these tremendous numbers, or they've got really but it averages 350,000 to 500,000 people are watching CNN at any given time before this madness kicked off. And I'm just wondering, how they felt it, because I can guarantee you their numbers have dropped, as with anybody out there in mass news.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be like doe in the headlights with cognitive dissonance.
Yeah,
as they
completely, 100%. And if you've ever needed proof of this, in by the millions now. People have been told over and over again, don't trust. It lies to you. You know what? And you're just a crazy conspiracy guy. But now it's been proven, right? I think the trust is gone. I don't know if they'll ever get it back, and I don't know how they will. What are they going to do? Get guys like you and I on CNN to replace Wolf?
Right.
To get their credibility, their street cred back? Right. Okay. Let's go to the death card.
Yeah. So here you got everybody going off a cliff, right? And really, the Club of Rome, the ideas that have been put into the university system of the ideas of limits to growth, and the fact that we need to get rid of most of the population, have human habitat zones, and blah blah blah. So death card is a symbol of accepting the inevitable. Now, these guys are chess players, and they will put us in a checkmate. So it's, they're not scared of taking it too far. And so the death card shows pestilence. It shows, what Zika virus or whatever, mosquitoes coming and spreading plague, that nuclear cloud, and a red sun. And then you've got this reaper on a white horse, and of course that goes to Barack, or the white horse of, well, the end, and also of Muhammad. But then to put that into more of a place, you got that wave coming down with the dead fish lying in a pool. And of course, we could take that again as a symbol of the death of Christianity if you wanted to go that route. But, when you're talking about tarot cards, you're talking about symbolism, and a dead fish, it definitely would go towards this. But it's really going to that final conclusion and the new beginning that comes out of that. But, is it saying that we're going to push this too far, or is Fukushima already too far? Have we already gone too far? And the problems that will come out of the accepting the inevitable and leaving the past behind.
Yeah, it's a crazy card to have here. Not only is it the death card, but it's what is represented here. Now, you take somebody like yourself that knows what they're looking at, and you can get through the symbolism, and then you just get mom or dad off of the street and show them this card, and they're going to see World War III. That's what they see. They see the end of everything. And you throw that on the cover of this magazine, and they're not going to see necessarily Fukushima or see the other symbolism or the white horse. They're going to see the end of everything, and
Absolutely.
That's the message.
And you take in the Time magazine with Trump and Hillary that said the end is near. That's definitely being put out there.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the Magician card, the Death card.
And, of course, Obama trying to start World War III.
Yeah, well, if that is Obama. And it
right,
could
well,
be.
Of course, I don't, yeah.
It could be Trump. It could be Putin. But it's definitely there. One thing that I went and read probably maybe 10 different interpretations about this from different journalists around the country, right? Everybody was freaking out about this cover. And there wasn't a whole lot of focus on the other 7 cards. Everybody was talking about the death card, and why would they put that there?
Right.
And what do they know? That I find that fascinating. Okay, let's go on to the Magician.
So yeah, that was the point of no return. So then you apply the will, which is the meaning of the Magician card, taking action, acting consciously. And what do you have there but a transhumanist magician in VR goggles, 3D printing mini homes? So, I mean, first of all, I want to tell everyone they should go see the film The Holy Mountain by Jodorowsky if you want to understand the occult perspectives of how these archetypal forces are manipulated. And he gets into this. And we're talking about in the 70s, he's doing this magical film, and he's showing you these mini houses and how the human habitat zones and how the gods and the magicians are using these archetypal forces to cause this. Anyway, The Holy Mountain. It's a crazy, crazy movie. Don't watch it with mom, but definitely worth seeing if you're into understanding the occult more. So yeah, this whole idea of next you've got that magician, transhumanist magician. He's got the infinity symbol over his head, which is traditional for the magician card. And he's got the solar Christ or the Lucifer, crown, and is pointing as above, so below, which is also traditionally a magician card. But the whole idea that, the limits to growth that's being put in, the idea of the pestilence and the end of the world, and then finally coming up into this transhumanist agenda with a virtual reality and 3D printing of homes. That's when you look at where society's going, that it doesn't matter Democrat, GOP, it doesn't matter who's in charge, because the invisible world is constantly moving forward. And this whole AI, Arnold Schwarzenegger just opened for The Apprentice, right? And just took Trump's job. And he's making a joke about it, saying, I'm not the first. Who had this before? And they're like, well, Trump. And he says, so I could be president, right? And this is all on the New Year's celebration with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which was really weird, by the way, really bizarre. And this whole idea of the Constitutional Convention, this is the one thing that's kind of opening, it's holding back a global governance in America, and they need this Constitutional Convention to come forth. So, in the debates, there's Trump saying, I was the one who got Barack Obama to give up his birth certificate. And this whole birth certificate is a red herring to open a constitutional convention to allow native born citizens to become a president. But once the constitutional convention occurs, that is open for all revision. And this is something that I've been following for a long time. They've been pushing ideas, and that's how I came up with some of these thoughts of how they would move and maneuver to have that happen.
Do you think it's possible?
I do. Yeah. Actually, it's on the lips of many people. Alex Jones just had a CIA agent on talking about the Constitutional Convention. I like to keep up with Alex too, So when I see this whole situation, and then the Pope's Sustainability Act, and Pope Francis, who frightens me as well because he's a Jesuit, and we have a black Pope that's a Jesuit, and now we have a white Pope that's a Jesuit, and these secret forces that you see the system keeps moving. Oh, what I was getting to with Arnold Schwarzenegger was that Google is Skynet. I mean, we're moving into AI, virtual reality. They've got killer robots from Boston Dynamics. And next thing, you got the Terminator in office after the Constitutional Convention that allows him. And I don't know, Jimmy. I'm just, what I'm saying is that this movement keeps moving forward. The transhumanist agenda, it doesn't matter who's in charge.
I really thought that that's where things were headed, to get Schwarzenegger in office, or somebody that wasn't born here. And that door they were trying to force that open.
And the court case has come up again. Sheriff Arapio has reopened the birth certificate case just now. Yeah. So it's back on the table. And that's where I see all of these things, as we expose the corrupt elite, we're doing nothing but actually destroying America. And we got Putin's advisors on television praising Alex Jones for being a true American. It's also bizarre, Jimmy.
It is bizarre. And Sheriff Joe is about as big of a nut job as we have in this country, right? But what if he's actually right? I mean, it's just man, the four horsemen are just trotting, right across this land. It will arrive if Sheriff Joe is right. What I see in the magician card is the Matrix. We're living in a fake world. That's what's represented here, and that's what's scary. And the whoever consulted on the artwork here, deep into symbolism and the occult world and what is hidden. And
I want to know who drew this.
Yes, really, really well done. Because
now we know the editor-in-chief of The Economist goes to Bilderberg, so we do know that there's that connection.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, what a strange one that is, right?
Yes, it is.
The Wheel of Fortune traditionally would be the idea of change or uncovering patterns, destiny and opportunity. So, yeah, I mean, what are we looking at here? We got Germany, France, and the Netherlands. We got Merkel, Geert Wilders, and Marine Le Pen floating on this wheel that is being, actually, Merkel seems to be getting struck by a lightning. And we got the whole Brexit situation that could tie into this, the idea of turning away from the New World Order, or the fact that things just churn over and over. At the base, you have what we call voter fraud, but that's an improper statement. We should call it election fraud because it's not the voters that are doing this.
Right.
But you got those ballot boxes at the bottom. So you got these three political characters sprinting around on a wheel being shocked by lightning and, what appears to be some symbolism that would lead to voter fraud. And this one was a harder one for me because I'm not that much of a global economic person.
Well, but we also have all of the elections that have turned over Europe, in the last month too as well. Well, you can throw Brexit into that too as well. But, Italy, France is in the middle of an election. We've got things that are about to trip out in Germany too as well.
Yeah, all these people are up for election at this point.
And, man, I have no idea what's going to happen with Europe. I really, really don't. I would have never thought that Brexit would have happened, number one. Number two, if these countries start to separate, and the euro was just created in 1999. And the euro was created to, unite Europe and, just make it one thing. And I would have never thought that less than 20 years later, it would just completely unravel, and my issue with all of that was when you have these really cool countries like, Switzerland and Luxembourg and these countries with identity, with culture and history, Spain and Italy, just that go back so far, Greece, that just go back. And the euro removed that culture, the identity of those countries. And that's what I think is missing here. And it took
Kazakhstan wanted to create the universal money, and they called it Akmetal.
I remember that. Yes, yeah. I do remember that. Okay, let's go to the star card.
Yeah, and so finally, now the star card being a symbol of hope and inspiration, it always makes me kind of flash back to that children's that were singing, that were forced to sing praise to Obama or about Obama. That when played backwards says, "Thank you, Satan." The kids singing "Yes, We Can," and they're wearing these shirts for Obama that say, "Imagine Hope." Let that sink in for a minute.
Right.
Imagine hope. That's what their shirts say. I mean, it's bad enough if you can't just hope, but you got to imagine hope. This is really getting bad. So I don't know. I did a video where I flipped that whole song backwards, and it says, "Thank you, Satan, Satan, Satan. Thank you, Satan." I don't know. I don't know why that never caught on. The whole fact that "Yes, we can" backwards is clearly "Thank you, Satan." The whole satanic agenda that I outlined with Barack Obama, I mean, his very name being lightning from heaven in Hebrew, Barack Obama, the description of Lucifer or Satan, and you play "Yes, We Can" backwards, and it's clearly "Thank you, Satan." Anyway, the first time I think about that, imagine hope, and I hear "Thank you, Satan, Satan." Everybody hates me for making that video, especially those that had to sit around while I was editing it. But yeah, so on the star card, you've got this view from Mars, right? Well, it could be Mars. It seems red. It kind of has all those craters at the base. But it's red, so it doesn't seem to be the moon. I would think it was more Mars, or view from Mars. And this, the final breakaway civilization as we start to colonize the planets is obviously the plan. And we've got Elon Musk and everything getting ready for SpaceX, and going all the way back to Werner von Braun in 1952, who was talking about landing rockets on Mars. And then what you see from this view from Mars is the children of the future. There's 14 stars on the card, and in each of those stars, there's a face. Now, I haven't really been able to dig deep into what those faces may be, but immediately I'm coming to the idea that, China just agreed that they were going to create the first genetically modified human, and with CRISPR technology, like we talked about last time. And these children of the future programmed by this Club of Rome with the limits to growth and their human habitat situations that have to go to their schools that say Earth first and get programmed into all of this are as Bill Clinton put it, our children are ready. The torch has been passed. And that was his Y2K speech that I have in my corporate logos video. So that's what I see in the end there is these genetically modified children that are living in human habitat zones in their mini homes that the magician has created after all of the cards have fallen into place.
Well, by the time we get back from break, I've already put out the word here to get the faces that are on the star card. So we'll have that after the break.
Awesome.
That's what Twitter is here for. So let's do that right now. Our guest tonight, the one and only Freeman. I almost said Freeman Fly. You've let that go, man. You've just got one name, right?
Yeah. Fly came from Facebook.
Yeah, there you go. Our guest tonight, Freeman. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
You've probably heard about all the great benefits of goat milk soap, but did you know some companies take shortcuts? At Old New England Soap, we make our organic goat's milk soap using 36% goat's milk. That's 17% more than most others. Our bars are larger, so they last longer, producing lots of lather packed with vitamins. And our soap is a natural moisturizer that smooths dry and damaged skin. Order online at oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. You've tried the rest. Now try the best. oldnesoap.com.
Water-based soaps on supermarket shelves use harsh chemical acids to break down dead skin cells. And that's just not good for you. At Old New England Soap, our soaps are made without chemical ingredients, contain no alcohol or petroleum products, and use 85% organic materials and carry the USDA's organic certification. Try some today. Go to oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. oldnesoap.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have sciatica, then you know all about the crippling pain that travels from your lower back down your leg when a spasm occurs. It's brutal. In fact, it's enough to take your breath away. Dr. Zhang's Sciatica Nerve Cream helps relieve persistent, shooting pains associated with the sciatic nerve in the lower back and legs. This natural, homeopathic cream contains the most potent ingredients to soothe even the most excruciating pain associated with sciatica. Stop the pain now. Ask for Dr. Zhang's Sciatica Nerve Cream at your local health food store or go online to trasknutrition.com.
Would you like relief from muscle pain, headaches, and discomfort to sleep better, have more energy during the day, and just feel naturally amazing? Fibromalic can help. Its blend of malic acid and magnesium can provide pain relief and comfort for those who experience fibromyalgia. It helps your body absorb more oxygen, and it works quickly for a significant reduction in pain within 48 hours, all without a prescription. Ask for Fibromalic at health and vitamin shops or shop fibromalic.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Freeman. Discussing 2017, the Economist 2017 magazine tarot card cover. We're doing that. And Freeman, I got a little of info here. It says that the faces seem to be unrecognizable celebrities from high school yearbook pictures, with the males in the pictures wearing tuxedos. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the next thing, I mean, for me, when I look at the star card, and it's interesting how you say Mars because it's red, and I see that. But you know what else I see, man? I see Nibiru. That's what I see. I see another planet. It doesn't, I mean, I think a comet would have been represented in a different way here. I see.
There is a comment there too. I forgot about that. Or no, I'm thinking of the traditional card.
Yeah. No, I'm talking. Yeah. Right. We can go back to that. But
there is a comment.
This looks like Nibiru arriving.
Yeah, I've never been a big Planet X proponent, so I don't know if you want to open that can of worms.
That's fine. That's fine.
I am, I follow a lot of Sitchin work, and I follow a lot of the ideas of this ancient civilization, obviously, and there's plenty to that. But I do have a hard time with the concept of Planet X.
Well, and then what if we go with the comet and this being the morning star and this being Lucifer? What if we go down that road?
Well, I have a theory that Mars could have been the Atlantean civilization precursor, and this whole idea of Mars being the war tribe. Sometimes I think white people are from Mars, and because there was a time, if you follow Velikovsky, that Mars and Earth were closer to the sun, and actually got knocked by the Venus comet out of place. And this was when Mars lost its atmosphere and its civilization was lost. And those people suddenly appeared perhaps in the Caucasus Mountains and became the Caucasians because, Earth was closer to the sun. So it makes sense that they had darker skins. And then Mars is where Earth, is now. And so the lighter skins because of the distance from the sun. But, it's a hypothesis I've been running for quite some years because Mars is very important in this whole story.
So I just jumped to Wikipedia really quick about the Economist. 50% owned by the Rothschilds.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Right here. The other half is the Agnelli family through its holding company, Exor. Wow.
And, they've released all of this out into the people. Ariana Grande has Tree of Life in her videos that powers her spaceship. The MK Ultra, the Kabbalism, the magic, and all of this have all become part of our Hulu experience. And even that goes back to Sitchin when you think about it. The Lulu were the manufactured humans, the genetically crafted, mules that couldn't reproduce. The Lulu, and now you've got Hulu, the human slaves that are crafted by the elite in this whole story. I really do. I really appreciate Sitchin's work. So I hope no one, when I say that I'm not sure about Planet X, doesn't think that I just disapprove of all the knowledge there.
Well, Sitchin, who I think all of us in this little circle that we're in admire him and have studied him and have read him. He was so complex and so deliberate with his information that you are going to stumble at some point. You're not going to get everything right. He did a lot of research and a lot of linguistic work, and he got some of it wrong. But the ideas that he has presented here, that he pulled out of the Sumerian text, are something that caused us all to take a look at it. That's what I admire about him. And last year in 2016, when it was discovered that there was a strange gravitational body out beyond our solar system that was messing with Neptune, right? And that it was proven. And the only thing that it could be is another planet out there, you know, and you start to get that information in. It's just like, what? And that they have known about it for a long time, but they haven't talked about it publicly, right? So there you go.
Right. Yes. And I mean, the theory that I went with, since we're hypothesizing, is the second son. And this one comes up so often in the symbolism and the understandings of the occult. So I followed the idea of the second son, and there is one that is G1.9. And strangely, it looks exactly like the Firefox logo when seen from the telescope. And G1.9, according to the Star Viewer team of Italy, says that it's coming at us. And this is our binary star, because most solar systems have a binary. And if that were occurring and that sun was coming, it could carry other planets, right? And that I could understand.
Well, Walter Cruttenden's been talking about this forever, and Jason Martell too as well. And the one thing that stands out with us, with our little solar system here, is that as it turns out, just about everything else out there is binary. Us, if we only have one sun, that makes us extremely unique. And he's gone out there to find this second sun, and his math says that it is there. So there you go.
Look into G1.9.
Yes, I have. And you're absolutely right. You know what I want to know? And Rita just texted me. She goes, quit messing around. During the break, by the way, I walked down the hall out of my studio into hers. And she goes, I want to know who did this reading in the first place. She goes, bye, Felicia. She kicked me out. And so I came back in here, and she just texted me again. And that is the obvious thing. Who did this reading? Were you able to find out anything?
No, I want to dig deeper. I want to find out more, and hopefully people, there's a lot of internet sleuths out there, and leave the answer for us in the comments.
Yeah, I've been reading some stuff over the last couple of days of breaking all of these down. A lot of what I've read is very close to your interpretation too, as well. And that's the other thing. Tarot reading is the person doing the reading, right? If somebody else comes in and sees the same exact cards, they're going to interpret it maybe differently and give you.
It's very personal. And
right.
I see that, you just read the card and what it stands for, and they interpret the meaning. And I've seen people cry, and you have no idea what they're getting out of what you're saying because you're simply interpreting the card. But it really will make you believe in the quantum flux because it will strike home so many times, and it will be on point instead of just randomly seeming like it was correct. It really, tarot has been a magical force for a long time. I don't know. The archetypal forces that these magicians discuss and utilize are the things that I want to understand why and what and how. And the tarot has always been a major point in all of understanding all of that.
Now, the false prophet, the second coming, and all of these that we've heard over and over and over again growing up, right? And we're going to be misled by somebody that's going to be magical and is going to, say all the right things and take us down the wrong path. I don't want to go there directly, but could we actually be at that point where Trump is that guy, that the silver-tongued devil that is the end of things? I mean, is there a possibility here, and is that what this cover is saying?
He could be the fall guy, and I don't really believe in those type of prophecies, and I even have evidence to suggest that it came out of a group that spawned Aleister Crowley, a Christian organization. What are they called? The Pilgrim. Why did I forget their name? But, this whole concept, so many things, these stories like Left Behind that come forward, they really have no biblical basis, and they're all based on interpretation. So I hate that kind of stuff. So I don't really, but yeah, at the same time, when you look at our leaders and we have Skull and Bones versus Skull and Bones as our presidential candidates, and you realize that they take their names from the book of Revelation, then you know that it's on their minds. I could see it as a script, and I could see it written into the public as to work as a script. But no, I don't see Trump as the Antichrist.
Well, and then I forget which one of his cabinet, I can't remember who said it, tweeted it out last week saying, that it's Christmas and we have the king, but now 2,000 years later we have the new king. Right, obviously referencing Trump in that statement. And then we look at this judgment card here that's got Trump as king of the world, right? That's some type of inflated ego kind of thing here. But I've now, with the Economist cover and that tweet last week, that has never entered my mind, but now I've seen it twice in a week, and people are thinking this way, and I find that disturbing.
Yeah, everybody's been the Antichrist. I remember when W was the Antichrist, and it's just, no. I can't see
you don't
it,
go there.
I've been wrong. I mean,
Oh, here's the time that we need to be wrong, right?
Yeah.
If there's ever been a time. Okay, here are the star faces, not in any particular order, okay? And I'm reading them now, and I don't really recognize. Okay, here are the people. Here are the star faces on the star card. Sam Altman, Sayanda Mohutswa, Isaac Hernandez, Daisy Ridley, Hani Al-Mulia, Amani Kahatbe, Letitia Gasca, Amanda Coletta, Siobhan Zills, Tor Garnett, Joshua Wong, Luis O'Neill, Tomasa Del Real, and Boyan Slot. There it is. Wow. Rita, is this up in Twitter? Yeah, there it is. Freeman, do you have Twitter up?
No.
Okay. Here it is. It's all broken down right here. Well, it's been sent to you via Twitter. So you'll be able to see it here, and then the names are here too as well.
Very good. And I highly recommend everybody follow Freeman TV on Twitter, because I tweet out all of this transhumanist news and everything that I talk about. You get it there.
Man, see, that's why you got to love Twitter.
Yeah.
This show, when we first started out, for some reason, the Twitter world, we figured it out, right? The audience did. And we always wanted this to be interactive, and we wanted to have forums and chat rooms, but Twitter and the family and the audience, they get it. And it is in real time with the show, and I am able to interact with everybody. And when I said to you, you watch, we're going to have the names of these faces, right?
Right.
Well, here it is. It's in real time. And I have a couple of other questions I wanted to get to out of Twitter here. One of them is this: what happens if we turn all of the cards upside down with this cover? Would that make a difference in the reading?
It does. Yeah.
How
does.
so? How is everything opposite?
Not necessarily. Just kind of a reflection of itself. It does change the reading, though. It would come out different. I didn't look at it upside down, so I couldn't tell you. But yeah, when you flip a card, like say the Tower. If you take the Tower card, it's a symbol of catastrophe, right? But you flip it and you get it backwards or upside down, then it's a minor catastrophe. And you see, so that's like the subtle change in something like the Tower.
It wouldn't be the Tower getting fixed or rebuilt. It would be a catastrophe, but a minor catastrophe.
But lesser catastrophe. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what about the Judgment card with Trump being king of the world, holding what looks like to be the English monarchy, symbols, right? That's what it looks like to me, by the way.
Right.
It looks very British. But if you take that card and flip it upside down, what would that mean?
So you got attachment to mere semblance of harmony, avoiding conflicts, refusal to deal with difficulties, lacking objectivity, losing contact with reality, and the wheat is now separated from the chaff.
Interesting. So it's not that he's the unking. That's interesting. Wow. Okay. Let's do this. Let's continue. What would the world card be if it was flipped?
World flipped is an important matter can't be completed. Disturbances and obstacles, decisiveness, endurance, and determination are most needed.
Wow, that's not the opposite of this. It's totally different. I get what you're saying. Okay, what about the Hermit card and the Truth? What happens there when that's flipped?
When we go to the Hermit, you're getting to the ideas of losing touch with reality. And lacking communication skills. You're isolated in your decision making and being too cautious or postponing important things.
The Death card, if this is upside down.
Illusions about the real meanings of loss. Not taking your lost lessons and ending a cycle of life or personal separation. Not recognizing the positive aspects of painful experiences, and so refusing to learn.
Wow. And the Magician card?
In the Magician, you would see hurt and loss or becoming a victim. Trickiness and deception, also backstabbing.
And the Wheel of Fortune?
I need to...
You know while you're looking that up, as bad as this cover is, or how you interpret it, it's open, but you flip these over, it's worse.
Yeah, a lot of times. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the Wheel of Fortune would be the sense of feeling trapped in the current situation, attempting to do too many things at once without completing anything, an unclear situation.
Oh, very interesting.
So that's like the opposite of the opportunity you would, fortune and fortune.
And the Star card.
Yes. So we're looking at high ideals resulting in hypocrisy, unjustified hopes, or insincere opportunist. Or someone pulling hidden strings in the background.
Wow. I thought I thought it was pretty dark, right side up. Seriously. But, man.
It's kind of self-righteousness, It's kind of the star inverted.
Wouldn't it be funny if one of these cards was upside down, but they're not?
Yeah.
What's your favorite deck? A type of deck?
There's a deck that's the Handel, and it actually incorporates in 4 different cultures, and I really like it. It's got Celtic, African, I don't remember all of them, but it's the Handel deck, and for some reason, it's always so positive and cheery. For a study, though, the Rider-Waite deck is the best to study for the true symbolism of what the tarot has to offer. So I would go to the Rider-Waite deck to get the true study. And then if you have a reading preference. But I totally avoid the Book of Thoth, which is the Aleister Crowley deck, because it always comes up sinister. It's really creepy, and I don't even know what to think about it. But that one stays locked away.
What about the ability to find out who was the artist here and what the intention was? Do you think... you can look into that for us? I want to find out.
Oh, I'm definitely going to look. I hope I can find something. I'm going to dig, and I'm going to call, and I'm going to see. Definitely.
You know what I did? I was having such a fun time speaking with you tonight. We didn't take any phone calls. So
we did go fast.
Yeah. Let's bang some phone. I'll open up the phone line. So let's do it. We've got
one thing I
Freeman
want to mention to you, just for people to think about, is this new Magic Leap technology that's going to be coming into our world, and that is this whole idea where screens and computers are no longer in existence, and it goes back to the Magician card in the VR world. You're going to be wearing glasses that have a virtual reality using nano laser technology that prints the information right to your retina, and this Magic Leap technology, I think people should look at real quick, in the near future, because it's going to be hitting really soon. and it's going to revolutionize everything if all goes as they expect. And for some reason, I felt the need to bring it up.
I have one of the issues that I have, and I just talked about my vision. By the way, I'm going to open up the phone lines really quick. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Phone lines are open right now. Is as cool as Google Glass is and VR headsets, my vision is so screwed up. Seeing that close, I don't think I could take advantage of the
That's
technology.
where this technology separates itself from those other technologies. The Magic Leap technology actually goes straight to your retina and makes your brain so you're not actually you are actually seeing things at the distance that they should be, and it will make a television appear in the middle of your room. Everyone in the glasses can see it. You can change the channel. You can make it your computer. You can just spread, he has X-Wings and robots that aren't actually there running around his office when you got this all on. It's called Magic Leap. And I really think this is, going to seriously change things. It's actually on the cover of Forbes magazine for November.
Yeah, I'm reading about it in MIT Technology Review right here.
Yeah.
Wow, this is
so
crazy.
It won't have any eyesight problems like that. That's the big leap that they had, was this nanotechnology using laser technology going straight into your retina.
I'm trying to absorb the heaviness of what I did not know. I'm usually on front of all of this. But what you're saying,
to bring it up.
So it is so fast. What you are saying that the laser will project the image directly to your nerves. So it's going to bypass. Right, it's going to bypass your vision. Right, your lens is on the outside of your eye, and it's going. Wow. How is that even possible? And that's frightening.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to get ready and invest in the 21st century, I think this idea is where things are going. They'll also be putting out the Microsoft HoloLens next year, which is a similar but not the same technology. And I think that Magic Leap's gonna beat out the HoloLens, and everybody's gonna have to do away with all their devices again. And
wow. Magic Leap is a company that is working on a head-mounted virtual retinal display which superimposes 3D computer-generated imagery over real-world objects by projecting a digital light field into the user's eye, involving technologies potentially suited to applications in augmented reality and computer vision. It is attempting to construct a light field chip using silicon photonics. Magic Leap was founded. Wow. It's raised $1.4 billion from investors, and right now it's worth $4.5 billion.
Yes.
I'm going to look into this. Thank you so much, Freeman. What a great show tonight, man. And I want to get to the bottom of this tarot cover. We didn't touch on Washington, D.C. tonight. I want to bring you back, and I want to pick D.C. apart. So we'll do that. And also, everybody, I'm gonna go and hang out on Freeman's show here in the very near future, and we'll keep you notified on that when that takes place. But that'll be fun. I really, really, really want to get on the other side of the microphone with you.
I can't wait.
It's going to be great, man. Thank you so much, and good luck, and have fun in 2017. You and I have got a few things that we're working on together, and 2017 is going to be great, man. Thank you so much, Freeman.
It's going to be a wild ride. See you next time, Jimmy.
Yeah, you are the absolute best. Freeman, everybody. FreemanTV.com. And I say it every time that Freeman is on the show. It is one of the best websites ever. You're going to read and watch and videos forever. It's one of the great websites out there. Thank you so much, Freeman. FreemanTV.com. Follow Freeman on Twitter. Freeman @Freeman TV. This is Fade to Black. I'm going to come back, go through some news, and take your phone calls. 323-825-5045. Thank you so much, Freeman. I'll be right back.
Hey, what up, y'all? Sugar Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code TSL.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced WAVE moisture control units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. WAVE units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. WAVE units are still running effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Just chatting, texting with Freeman during the break. He wanted me to thank all of you guys. He had a great time. It's like, dude, it went too fast. It does. It does when it's good. All right. Thank you, Freeman. I'm going to open up the phone lines right now. 323-825-5045. What do you think about this cover? And the more that I look at it, I'm tripping on it. And it was interesting how when you take all of these cards and flip them around, it would probably be a worser case scenario. But there is something here to this cover. I don't know who did the reading. These cards are deliberate. The fact that the Economist is owned by the Rothschilds and the message that they are doing here is deliberate. You're definitely guiding the lemmings somewhere. There's a message to this, and you've got to remember who owns and publishes the Economist. I just find the entire thing shocking. What is it that they know? What is the agenda? What is it that they want to get done from this cover? I want to hear from you right now, 323-825-5045. We completely went through this card for card. And also, I want to thank who came up with the names of the faces on the star card. And look at this here. Okay. Interesting. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get this larger. Because I have it here. Very cool. Okay, let me see here. I might be able to pull this off and read this. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so Sam Altman is the president of Y Combinator and chairman of OpenAI. In 2017, we should start thinking seriously about how we reach this incredible future. Salanda. Oh, hold on for a second here. Let's go ahead and do this. It's muted. Yes, let's do this. Okay. All right. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
How are you this evening, Mr. Jimmy Church?
What's going on, Steve? I thought that was you. How are you doing? What did you think about this show and the cover of The Economist?
Well, Jimmy, I always love the show. But I always, concerning the cover, it's just more of the mainstream trying to control and to put ideas into our minds. There could have been 100 different covers of those cards.
Oh, that's interesting. Sure. Oh, man.
I mean, that's not they could have put whatever out there.
Well, do you think...
they chose to put that out.
They did. Do you think it was an actual reading, or do you think that these cards were deliberate with its message?
I think they're deliberate. I think absolutely they're deliberate.
This star
card... I think
card...
it was well thought out and planned, and there's an agenda behind it for us to think and to guess at the meaning and to get what we're doing tonight is what they want. Us guessing at the meaning and just not having an idea of what the truth is behind it.
It's really interesting who these faces are on the star cards. I'm reading them here. Isaac Hernandez, the Arts and Society, 1986, London. He's a lead principal at the English National Ballet. Daisy Ridley is an actor here in Los Angeles. Let's see. Hani Al-Mulia is 3D photography from Regina, Saskatchewan, photographer and student. Very, very interesting. Very interesting who these people are. And I'm going to get really deep in yes, I am seeing this. I'm going to cover this tomorrow on the show. I'm going to break all of these faces down because it's all done with intent. This is done
it's done with intent. Why are these particular people picked to be on that card? They could have put, anyone on those cards.
Yeah.
And for those particular people to be on those cards, there's a significance behind that. There's a meaning to that.
It's very interesting. Somebody from New York, Mexico City, London, San Francisco, London, Hong Kong, Dublin, Chile, the Netherlands. Very CEO and founder of the Ocean Cleanup. Very interesting. Okay, I'm going to break all of this down tomorrow, and that'll be a very interesting show. But this cover, when you look at the everything grows from something, right? Well, this grew out of the Rothschild group. Man alive. What do you think
I
about?
guarantee you, when you start digging and you really do some research into the people that's on that card, there's going to be definite significance to every person that's on that card.
I will get to the bottom of it. I promise you. How did your New Year's go?
It was great. Had a great New Year's.
Yeah.
And we haven't had any snow yet here in Bluefield, so it's been wonderful.
That's all that matters, man. What do you think about 2017? Now that everything is behind us, do you feel good? Are you positive?
I'm positive. The coal industry is showing an uptick since Trump's been elected. If he helps us out with some EPA stuff, it'll even get better. But the met market is taking a real big upswing. Which, if you don't know what the met market is the coal that produces steel that they use in the production of steel.
Right.
And steam coal is up a little bit, not near as much as the met coal is, but one of the biggest reasons why met coal is up is that China has actually stopped production of the met coal right now to the market. And that's one way that China's manipulating the market.
Well, in this case, it's good, though, right?
Oh, and for us, yes, it's very good. But what's going to happen when China comes back online in the met market again?
Right.
That's what, everybody's going to get their hopes up and, think that things have turned around, and then here China's going to have, 500 million ton of met coal on the ground, and it's going to put the brakes on it real quick.
Right. Well,
so they can mine it so much cheaper than we can.
Dolan said one thing last night that we all think about, and I do every single time we go through an election cycle, and we all hope that this next president is going to initiate change, right? Things are going to happen this time around. Well, it obviously didn't happen to the extreme that we thought it would with Obama being who he was and is. And, it just turned out to be kind of bland, nothing really earth-shattering happened. Now, he did inherit a pretty crazy economy when he came in 2008, so I got to give him credit there. But I don't know how I would have dealt with that economy. But that being said, will we see something this time around with Trump, or is it just is it going to be the shadow government manipulating everything that we fear, or
well, it's going to be like Dolan said. Is Trump egotistical enough that he ignores the threat that is given him?
Right.
Is he? Does he got the brass cojones that he says he does?
Or
say, hey, that's enough.
Or let's say he does have those brass cojones. No, he really does. But will
he can bring it now.
Will he be allowed to use it?
That's right.
That's the question. Is there somebody out there that's actually going to go, dude, you need to, you can say whatever you want, but this is how it's really going to be. We'll find out.
I don't think that they could ever go to the extremes of killing another president.
No, that's not going to happen.
But as far as, doing other things to him,
well, Dolan.
People don't think that Trump is very vulnerable, but Trump's more vulnerable than you realize.
Well,
he can be hurt more ways than people think.
Well, Dolan brought that up last night. You've always, everybody, no matter how strong you think you are or how innocent you are or whatever, there is always something there to manipulate everybody.
Absolutely.
So we'll find out. Hey, Steve.
No one is immune from those pressures, Jim.
Thank you so much for the phone call, my brother. We'll see you tomorrow night on Fader Night.
As always, Jimmy, brother. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Steve. Steve from Bluefield coming in strong. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly feel that whoever gets elected, man, they go into that Oval Office and that phone rings. I'm just telling you that's the way it is. And he's going to get that phone call. Now, does he listen? Does he freak out? Does he hang up on him? Right? I don't know. But we're going to find out. And we're less than 3 weeks away. Less than 3 weeks. And with that, with everything that we talk about, the NSA and the CIA and three-letter agencies and naval intelligence and the Air Force's Office of Intelligence, all of these different organizations and they're big, man. The Navy, their intelligence wing, man, right? Well, check this announcement out. NASA, and I'm saying this directly, NASA and the CIA are going to send its first African-American agent/astronaut up to the space station. Yeah, and if you're wondering if I didn't say that right, ex-CIA Technical Intelligence Officer Jeanette Epps has been selected by NASA to crew the International Space Station as a flight engineer next year in 2018. Epps will head to the International Space Station as a flight engineer. Her commander will be Andrew Futstel, a veteran astronaut, and she was selected in July 2009 as one of 14 members of the 20th NASA astronaut class. Her training included the Russian language, so she'll be able to talk to the cosmonauts, on the ISS, like any good CIA agent should. Epps holds a PhD in aerospace engineering from the University of Maryland. You can find all of her credentials online, but the most stunning and glaring is she's an ex-CIA agent. And once with the company, always with the company. So what is she being sent up there for? I'm just saying. Now, you guys remember all of the conversations I've had about flying cars in the future and those crazy kitchens of the future from the 1950s, right? The Jetsons, flying cars in every driveway. And then about 2 years ago, I was talking about drones, and that I've had a couple of little drones in the house, and I've still got, I think, 2 helicopters, little ones, and I'm really into the technology. But as I looked at drones, and they got more sophisticated, more stable, and more cool, here at the consumer level, that what is stopping these from just getting big, and there's your flying car. Makes sense. They are so stable, and the technology is there now, right? Well, it's official. Drone taxis have arrived. Passenger drones are here. Go over to our Facebook page and look at the picture of the E-Hang. It is the craziest thing ever. After a year, they debuted last year, after a year after debuting this passenger drone at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. Shanghai-based E-Hang released a video, which I watched today in wonder. I mean, I cannot believe this. But it's here. Thank you. It just got posted on Twitter. I'm going to retweet this right now. Thank you, Mark. There it is. A passenger drone. And you need to go look at these videos of the test flights of this thing. It's remarkable. The E-Hang 184 has been designed with urban use. The single passenger vehicle has 8 rotors. Well, it's got 4, but each pod on the outside has 2 rotors each for a total of 8. Vertical takeoff and landings wherever, just like any drone that you can think of. It can carry a payload right now, as it is designed, of 220 pounds. In other words, a person. I would barely make it, by the way. It would take off with me on it. Can fly 20 miles or 23 minutes. Just enough distance to make it useful for anything. It's a frigging Uber. It flies by an app. So all you do is summon this thing like an Uber and go, pick me up here. I want to go here. You get in it. It's a single seat. You get in it, and it'll take you wherever you want to go. It's insane. All you need for this is a smartphone. It's an Uber. Look at this picture. Now, all of those sky cars and guests on this show and things that we've talked about over the, I just thought, man, drone technology, it's right there. Go and watch the videos of this thing. I mean, if I'm dealing with something that's got real drone technology in it, with that stabilization and that software and how they, man, I would get in this. I would get in this today. I have no question that this works. I do. I would feel safe in that. Now, this is what is nutty. I could see that in every driveway. That I could see. And if you are tying in GPS and that technology that you have with any drone, right? Then the clearing of the skies, the freeway and the skies and all of that, and the control and the speed and everything else would be perfect. You're not going to collide with anything else. You're going to communicate with everything else. You're not. This isn't a one-off thing here. This is something that is tied into the network. It's incredible. That looks cool to me, and that works. And be ready, because this will be available right now for Uber next year. That right there, the E-Hang 184. Now, there was some other huge news today. Engravings of a cross and a menorah carved thousands of years ago were recently found in a cave in Israel. Now, this is according to the Israel Antiquities Authority. Pictures of what they discovered are over on our Facebook page. I'm sure it'll be popping up here in just a second. And what is interesting here is that the two figures were etched close together on a cistern wall, and they were likely created hundreds of years apart. This is according to the archaeologists. Hikers unexpectedly, thank you, Mark, for doing that. That's getting retweeted right now. You need to look at exactly what I'm talking about here. They came upon the ancient carvings while exploring subterranean passages in southern Israel. The menorah, which you can see here in the upper right-hand corner, which has 7 arms and 3 legs, represents the traditional candelabra that stood in the Second Temple in Jerusalem. Modern menorahs typically have 9 arms, 8 representing the 8 nights of Hanukkah, and 1 extra to hold the candle that lights all of the others. The 7-armed design is associated with the menorahs that were used in the first and second temples, which predates the Hanukkah holiday, which emerged after the destruction of the Second Temple by the Romans in AD 70. Think about Ralph Ellis, AD 70, right? Well, there it is. Now, check out the cross. Look at that. Now, what they don't know, also, which I didn't speak about here, is that key symbol. That key was on right there next to the other two. And that's pretty interesting, and they're trying to figure that out right now. The other big news of the day, Monster black holes, neutron stars, and pulsars are the targets of a new NASA Space Telescope mission scheduled to launch in 2020. Now, as we know, black holes can heat up nearby gases, which in turn emit high-energy X-rays. NASA's new Imaging X-ray Telemetry Explorer, the IXPE mission, will use 3 space telescopes equipped with cameras to measure the polarization, the direction of vibration of these X-rays. The mission is going to cost about $188 million. The Italian Space Agency is helping develop the cameras capable of measuring the powerful X-rays radiating from black holes. Ball, not Bell, Ball Aerospace is going to provide the IXPE spacecraft and mission integrations. 2020. That is exciting stuff. Now, just over 4 months ago, that SpaceX disaster happened, and they encountered one of its biggest setbacks when the company's nearly in their 15 years of existence. And it looked like to me that something flew by the SpaceX and hit the rocket, the Falcon. That's what it looked like to me. Well, a rocket set to carry satellite into space, when it exploded in Florida, it grounded the company for the rest of the year. But after announcing they have now identified the problem, they said it this week, they are set to lift off once again Sunday, January 8th. Should SpaceX make good on its plan to launch on January 8th, it will carry the first of 10 satellites that the voice and data network Iridium plans sending into orbit. The Iridium satellite was the next launch scheduled on SpaceX's manifest when the Falcon 9 exploded September 1st. The remaining Iridium next satellite launch, no dates. Heightened attention. All right. I had to break this down, and I did this on purpose, but check this out. Right now, the Queen Elizabeth II, she's 90 years old, right? She's 90. And she didn't appear on Christmas Day or New Year's Day church services after failing to shake off a winter cold, allegedly, right? With the Queen not present for these traditional services, rumors have been spreading all over social media and around the world that, maybe she passed away. Well, she hasn't. She didn't. But what will happen when the Queen does indeed die or retire? She's 90. So I have to break this down for you because everybody keeps talking about Kate Middleton, that she could be the next. And that's what's strange here. If the Queen decides to retire or dies, Prince Charles, 68 years old, is the heir apparent and will become king, right? If she passes or abdicates. Prince William, meanwhile, is second in line to the throne and is followed by his children, with the Duchess of Cambridge, Prince George, and then Princess Charlotte at third and fourth, respectfully. Prince William, 34, would only become king if Prince Charles chooses to abdicate and pass on the throne to him. Prince Charles, though, right now, he rocks in England, and he ain't going anywhere, so he would accept the throne. But even should Charles abdicate, or when he finally passes on the throne, the Duchess of Cambridge will not sit on the throne. Betting odds for the next monarch listed by betstar.uk don't reference the Duchess of Cambridge, but have Prince Charles in at 1-4 odds, followed by Prince William at 5-2, Prince George at 25-1 long shot, with Prince Harry coming in fourth at 33-1 odds. I just don't know why everybody is freaking out about Kate Middleton. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I got to thank the one and only Freeman for coming in tonight. Great conversation. He's the best. FreemanTV.com. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamari Allen. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark T. Kovar. Thanks to LJ3, Renee, Jonas, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Viteau, and Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster, Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changing Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Tomorrow night, Fader Night. John